Hey there, everyone. We are back today with another comic review, and today we're looking at this giant book here. This is Prometheus, the Complete Fire and Stone. I say it's Prometheus, but if you can see on the bottom here, no, you can't. I can't show you. Here, flip it sideways, you can see. It's Prometheus, Aliens, Aliens versus Predator, and Predator. So there are four sections. That's a continuous story split between 4 issues for each property, I guess. So 4 issues for Prometheus, 4 issues for Aliens, 4 issues for AVP, and 4 issues for Predator. First, I want to talk about this book a little bit because I was really excited to get this, and it's somewhat good and somewhat disappointing. So first, I want to show you guys what it looks like. This is the Prometheus part. I think the art is generally okay. It's not bad, not terrible. It's the story setup. It's okay. There's aliens that show up at the end, and there's some crew intrigue, and then it'll switch over to this is Prometheus, but I think the next part is aliens. So Aliens is the next part. And you move on to the Aliens story, and the art is different, but I actually think I prefer the Aliens art it's a little sketchier. I think I like that. That's a pretty good scene. It's straight from the Prometheus movie. Actually, looking at some of these I think are photoshopped from the movie, taking a still from the movie and Photoshop filter on some of these. They look lazy. So but when there's drawing, it looks all right. But again, I'm wondering if these are 3D models that they're using for some of these. But as it goes on, you'll see here's the different where it switches to Alien versus Predator. And the art is really different. I kind of like this art too, but there's a lot of different stuff going on here where the characters look really different, and there'll be here's some Predators. But and then after it switches to Predator at the end, the art switches again to a different artist. I think whatever they did for the stories were different. So you have your kind of complete ending here. Here's this is the worst art in the I don't like this one the most, I think, out of all of them. It looks all right, but look at that. So I mean, maybe this looks not ready for prime time is what I'm saying. That doesn't look like an engineer at all. And this is specifically the engineer from the movie, so it doesn't even look remotely close. So yeah, it's not so great. The overall story, there's an ending kind of follow-up at the end that's Prometheus Omega, and it's just a end to the story that connects it all together in the end. So you get a conclusion for basically everybody. But let's talk about this so the art is varied. It ranges from pretty good to mediocre to not ready for prime time. But let's talk about this because the overall story, I think, is pretty good. Basically, you have these people, they're going to this planet to recover the Prometheus. They're recovering something. This crew doesn't know, only the captain knows. And they're running to recover the Prometheus. And what happens is they show up and they find some stuff, but there's aliens, which doesn't make sense in terms of the actual continuity of the story, because on the planet they are in Prometheus, the only alien that should be there is a deacon. I'll show you the deacon. There's art for it. If you've seen Prometheus, it's the alien that comes at the end of the movie. So here you go. That's what the deacon looks like. At the end of Prometheus, this is born out of the engineer's body. This deacon. It's called a deacon. So here you go. But in this story, there's full-grown aliens, which shouldn't be possible because obviously in Alien Covenant, the aliens are not even fully formed yet because David has been creating them on a different planet, and like he has got something close. You've got like the neomorphs on the planet created by David, and then like finally towards the end, I think you finally get something that's like an actual xenomorph. Like it's pretty close. But on this planet that they're on in this story, there should be no aliens. Yet there are. And they're fully formed like aliens you know from the movie Aliens. So, like, here you go. Let me show you some pictures just to like, here you go, look. These are exactly aliens from the Alien series. It shouldn't be that way. It's not... Whoever wrote this, like, they either didn't... Let me check when this came out. Because, like, if it came out, like, before... Alien Covenant, like, it's kind of okay. Not even really, though. Even if it didn't. But, let's see. Okay. So this came out in 2014, 2015. So it would have came out before Alien Covenant, I believe. I think Alien Covenant was, like, 2016, right? But 2014, 2015, it's after Prometheus. But, again, in Prometheus, the only alien-like creature is the Deacon. There's no aliens. And they wouldn't have been able to become aliens on the planet. There was no other humans there for them to be born from. Or creatures, I guess. Like, it wouldn't have been the same. There were no more... When the aliens... with the... in the movie, the way that the Deacon is made is from that weird squid monster, and the engineer becomes the Deacon. So like there was no way for the aliens to come because there's no other life forms. So it's like putting me off throughout this whole thing. But like beyond that, like if you don't think about that, you're not like as really into these movies as I am or something, or you're just not really, you know, it's not gonna bother you. Like it's all right. I mean, if you realize that whoever wrote this like either didn't fully understand the movie or just didn't care and wanted to add real aliens, like, okay, whatever. But I don't know. It was kind of off-putting. But also, another thing that was kind of off for this is that the characters kind of suck. They all suck, and not because like they're like they do bad things so you hate them, they suck when that happens. But like they suck because they're like generic. So, like, basically you have two types of human characters. You have shit-heel men and like, powerful women. That's basically it. So, like, basically every man in this story, every man on the crew abandons somebody, betrays somebody, does something really shitty to get people killed, does something like stupid that like is basically makes them an asshole. And every woman is basically either a victim of those guys' stupidity or like the tough, like I'm gonna take control now leader. That's all of the women though. So like they have no personality. It's basically just like all the same woman and all the same man together, and like various aspects of the same stupid man doing the same stupid shit to get people killed or to die. And then you have the monsters of the story. So you've got like aliens and predators in there, and I guess also the engineer, and all the like various monsters on the planet. But the monsters also have no personality. So like, it sounds stupid to say that, but like the predators are basically you have two types of monsters: the noble savage monster and the killing machine monster. That's basically it though. And like basically anything that's the aliens obviously are killing machines, but there's also like various like mutations that happen to, there's like a predator that gets kind of mutated by the black goo from Prometheus, and he gets turned into basically just like savage monster. There's a shit-heel member of the crew who injects one of the like synthetic people with the black goo, and they kind of morph into this new being that wants to figure out what it is to be alive. And he is like, not, he's like more like a noble savage, like he becomes like a monster and you think he's trying to kill people, but he's actually just trying to figure something out, right? But he is still a savage killer because he can't be killed. It's really dumb. So the characters are all pretty much bad. It doesn't kill the story though. So like if you're willing to just be like, okay, basically everyone's going to die except one generic man, one generic woman, and one generic noble savage, you can you can call that basically from the beginning, because that's how all these movies work, right? Usually just like one person from each stupid faction will be fighting together, or they'll all have to fight. And since there's so many, you got to expect that like it's split into two, so one from each faction basically has to live. It's I don't know, it's a little painful at points, and it's like not even a hard read. It's a really quick read. So like, and there's a lot of interesting things that happen. Like this is a kind of a cool thing. Like this human, the Black Goo merges an alien with a human, and they're kind of like one hybrid being. It's kind of a cool idea, and like the design for it is pretty cool. You can see, I'll show you this synthetic human. The synthetic human that gets mutated, he changes into something else. So here is this like kind of synthetic human. I don't know if you can. Oh, he's down here. Let me see if there's one higher up where I can like, without having to like jiggle the camera around. So here you go. Here he is. He's like, this guy is like formerly a synth, which is like a humanoid creation. And it's the kind of thing where there's some cool ideas, but in the story itself, like I didn't mind reading it, but like would I recommend it? Probably not. There's problems. There's too many problems for it to be like super good. And like it's a little disappointing for me because like I'm a huge fan of Aliens and Predator, but also Prometheus especially. I love Prometheus. I think it's like one of my favorite Aliens films. It's like and I know people hate Prometheus. It's a very like split movie, but Prometheus for me is like one of my favorite Aliens movies. Alien Covenant and Prometheus, like right up there near the top. Like probably my second and third favorite Aliens movies. And like reading these comics, it's like I feel like whoever wrote them didn't understand those movies. And like I said, this came out before Alien Covenant, so like they would have just had Prometheus to go with, I guess. But whoever wrote these didn't really understand the engineers, like how the engineers work. Because in this, the engineers are so poorly characterized. He's basically just like a screaming monster who is like tough to kill. It's not like what the engineers are, right? The engineers are supposed to be like incredibly smart and, they're not just like dudes who can beat up a predator. I mean, maybe they can, but like that's not really like their characterization in the movie. They're supposed to be like these kind of overlord god beings, not screaming savage murderers who will pound you to death with their fists. It's not really like what they are. And like that's also kind of proven right by what I'm saying in Alien Covenant. When you go to the planet and they have like a civilization, they're not like cavemen. They have like a standard cities and stuff. So all of this is like I enjoyed reading it just because I like all this stuff, and it's kind of like neat to look at some of the ideas they had, but they're obviously ideas written by people who didn't really understand the movie or the kind of lore behind these Prometheus characters. So like I'm wondering who created this. I'm gonna assume original series editors, designer, who, okay. I'm trying to find who wrote these stories. Okay, so Prometheus script, Paul Tobin, Chris Robertson, Christopher Isabella, Joshua Williamson, Kelly Sudaconic. That's the people you have to blame. I don't know who wrote the original characters, because all the same characters go through. So maybe this Paul Tobin fellow is the person who is to blame, but like it might have been like creation by committee. So who knows? I just feel like they didn't do an incredibly good job of it. So that is this giant, it's like an oversized hardcover Prometheus, complete Fire and Stone. Man, I wanted to like it a lot. I just like it a little. And if you're not like a huge fan of these series, like you'll probably not like it at all. So yeah, that's a review. It's not gonna be incredibly good for your standard reader though. So take that as you will. So yeah, I guess I will catch you guys next time.